Kids taking their global civic responsibilities just too seriously with the ensembles. Q. What happens when you teach children to never smoke because they might kill themselves, and to recycle to keep from killing dolphins? A. Reality doubting hipsters sucking down tar, shivering, dressed in a frock coat and parachute pants. We went back inside. I told Hey Joe that he looks heaps like Walt Whitman. He should pretend to be him, pick up chicks. Just say, I'm large. I contain multitudes. Large, he said. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I said, it's just good advertising, good sense. Which is the same as good sense. And he said, large, and one of the roughs, a Cosmos. Oh, so you do know Walt, then? I kind of thought that Walt was a bit of an alpha male type, though, which I'm not really into. Homophobia is rife with them. He's dead anyway. I told Hey Joe that death vastly improves most men. Eyes looking outward, ships passing in the night, like oil tankers on their way to separate environmental disasters. His name's Wombat, eats roots and leaves. Take a chance on me, lose the bow tie. What is this bar? And we're back in 3-2 point thrust. So I says to him, so do you think you could, lie really still? Oh yeah, mortis de rigueur, fucking past. We went for a walk, his mine, ourselves, our territory. It's a craggy sandstone wall, wet with the Sydney summer rain, wet. And he took off like a bitch in heat for the Ferrari store in William Street, and then I saw the writing on the wall to send me back to Club 77 in hope of finding the whole wide world in his eyes. It was on this flyer, it said, love, verb, thinly disguised as adjective. What we really celebrate come St. Valentine's Day is copulation, an end, and in this case the end, fin. Sex and death party on the 14th of February. Come together and procreation do you part, and death do you work so hard at forgetting, and invert revelry with immortal celibacy, and impose conditions keeping you from begetting offspring, and so fulfilling your purpose, which would be irreligious, and go artificial, and warm cold hands on flesh that's been kept taut with diet and exercise and what have you, and I'll show you what you have. There ain't nobody here but us, babe, so let's do it. Let's fall in love. So let's do it. Let's fall in love.
Unseemly humus from which nothing seemed to grow. He felt burdened by it, like there wasn't enough to go round, enough space left to paper the world with itself. Detritus, inorganic, the end of nature, nothing cyclical, a plague. Nothing cyclical, a plague. Wrapped up in maroon bed sheets, he thought about last night's quip to an unsympathetic, unwary crowd. He thought about the last time he made love. He had said that his sheets were that color for a reason. Think about it. Like she had just been a child with the perfectly formed and perfectly hairless vagina of a porn star or celebrity. Not enough meals passed for anal bleaching to be necessary. Not yet any competition for Rimbaud's violet carnation, because he couldn't share that world.
Rambo, you bottomless arsehole. All the adulteresses in Hades working overtime couldn't fill your sugar bowl with buckets. You are the very rim of hell.
Perversion just wasn't perversion anymore. This unromantic era of poetesses. To be great, you had to be like a man, but you couldn't actually be a man. He just wanted her to hold it. It was no good being an abomination if you couldn't touch beauty. He thought about what they thought of him, how they tried to set him up with women who were just a little bit plain or a little bit awkward. Those mewling idiots festering in traditional hysteria, planning futures of a married life and children, being sympathetic with the gays over their obvious predicament, reasoning that if he was seemingly asexual, he could just hear them. He was probably only really shy, and if they could just colonize him with their sisters, with their breasts and their ingrown hairs, they might just be able to understand him. It was important that for all of them, the first person to see their pubic hair was the beautician, and even then they would still charge him with instigation. He called the whole dance of it incitement.
So let's do it. Let's fall in love. 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 So let's do it. Let's fall in love.